Hello, and welcome to another Scottish mountain walking guide. The bad spell of weather continues in Scotland, and I didn't think I was going to get an opportunity to go out and record a walk. And then for one day and one day only, the weather improved, and I had the chance to go and climb Beinn and An Caisteal. I've climbed these Munros quite a few times in the past, and they make for a very enjoyable walk in good weather. There are some slight scrambling sections dotted along the walk, nothing difficult most of the time, with the exception being winter walking, where the ice and frozen ground can make it a bit uncomfortable. The total walking distance is 14.3 kilometres, with 1,099 metres of ascent. It's expected to take around 5.5 hours to walk. The navigation is relatively easy, with a clear path to follow for the most part. As always, links to the OS map for the route, the starting point car park, and the Scottish Mountain Weather website are included in the description below. Parking is in a large layby at the south of the A82, about a mile away from Crianlarich. Parking is free, there are no height restrictions, and you can probably fit around 30 cars. It's around 1 hour and 15 minutes drive from Glasgow and 2 hours from Edinburgh. The closest public toilet is in Crianlarich, about 3 minutes drive away. Note that the toilet is closed on Christmas Day, Boxing Day and the 1st and 2nd of January. Starting from the layby, you head down a path going in a south-easterly direction. This takes you quite quickly to an underpath that goes underneath the railway track here, and then it bends round and crosses over a metal bridge. It's a large bridge suitable for carrying traffic. And you're on a gravel road at this point, and the gravel road leads all the way up to a dam, so it's quite easy to navigate and follow that road, and you're going up the side of this river as well. As you follow up this road, you gain a little bit in altitude, but it's really nice and easy walking at this point. You'll come to a gate. The gate is locked, you do need to climb over the gate. It's a large gate for vehicles to pass through. And just after that gate is where the path goes up to An Caisteal. You can do this route in either a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. I'm showing the route in a clockwise direction as I prefer to do the long walk in and then have the ridge walk on the way back out. So at this point you just continue straight on and follow that path, and it goes to a dam which is around about here. That's the end of the gravel path. It then becomes a bit more of a boggy path through the moss and the peat. It also splits. There are a number of different paths as you're walking up this section, but as long as you're keeping the river on your left hand side and you're generally going in this direction, you can't go far wrong. You will eventually cross over that river and you'll be going up towards what is a small bealach. You can see it in the distance. As long as there's no cloud, you can see that there's a low point right about here, and you want to be going up slightly to the right of that. And on a clear day you can see quite a square rock sitting perched on the edge here, so as long as you're heading for that rock, you can't go wrong. Once you get across the river, the path quality improves and is much clearer once you start going up, and it gets steeper at this point. From here the path is very clear, and you just follow that path up the ridge line. Heading directly south at this point, you keep climbing and climbing. Don't be tempted. I saw some faint paths going across to the side here, going more directly up here, but I wouldn't be tempted to go that way. The path is of good quality and you don't lose any height as you climb up here and then traverse along to the side here. You will see a path go off here and maybe here that takes you up to a little top here. I avoided them. If it was a good day and you had good visibility, you could go up there and have a nice view. The path bends round to the west and it's all fairly easy going up this section. And then you come to the summit. I think the summit cairn is here. If I go to the premium map, it shows a point here and it shows a point here. There is a cairn here and I assume that is the summit. From there you keep heading in a westerly direction, just following the path. Now you do have a number of choices here. This is quite a steep face on this side, on the north side. I saw this path go off here. It was faint, but you could make it out. The more well-used path is down here and then actually goes down this section, but having read about the route, there is a little bit of scrambling on this. I don't think it's difficult. I don't recall it being any obstacles when I've walked this route in an anti-clockwise direction, but it was a bit frosty, a bit icy, and I didn't want to risk slipping on it. It was much easier walking on the grass and the moss than it was actually in the rocks when they're covered in ice. So I took the path that goes off here. Again, it's fairly indistinct. You can see it at this point and then it fades away. And in the actual video, I think I went too far down and I was walking along here. So I actually had to climb back up and join the path again about here. There's another little tricky bit here to descend only because of the ice. In normal conditions it would be just a simple walk. The angle of the rock with ice on it made it a little bit tricky. You come down to the Beinn. As I explained in the video, if you've got the time and the energy, you can actually go down this path and do this Munro over here. But I'm going to do that in a separate walk. So from here you head north-northwest and you make your way up this ridge. It gets a little bit steep, a little bit rocky, but nothing too difficult. And you just gradually make your way all the way up to the summit of An Caisteal. And that section is actually quite easy to ascend. But when you come along here, there are a couple of little sections of scrambling along this ridge, 2 sections. Again, without ice, they would be straightforward and not difficult, but the ice made them a little bit more uncomfortable. You work your way along the ridge, heading mostly in the north direction. You'll then come to this little dip here between the top here and as you're descending here. It does show the path going on there, and that was a well-worn path, and I think most people missed the turn to the right here and went straight on. They may have just been going for the view, but I suspect there is actually a path coming down here that joins on here. This path here is the worst section of the entire path, this bit down here. It is very wet, very boggy and quite indistinct. Some of it just looks like rivers that are flowing down, so it was a little bit tricky to follow. As you're coming down here, you've always got the knowledge that there's a good gravel road going up here on your right, so no matter where you come down, as long as you join that gravel road, then you know you can turn left and then return back to the car park. Good morning. It's 7:15 in the morning. I'm going to climb An Caisteal. It's -3 degrees. Beautiful clear sky. There's actually a full moon up there. It's just went out of view. But it is freezing. From the car park you head directly south east through this gate, down the side of the fence there, follow this gravel path, and I'm going to follow that gravel path until it gets to the very end and then continue up the valley. You can do this circuit either in a clockwise direction or an anti-clockwise direction, so for today I'm going to go clockwise. That's a long walk in and then up onto the ridge, and then a nice ridge walk and return back to the car park. Oh, it's cold. A little bit of a breeze. It's not too bad. It'll get up to about 20-25 miles per hour, wind at the top. The time is now 7:30. That's me just got everything packed and got my warmer clothes on and boots on, etc. So you cross that bridge, you'll see there's a hydro station there, and we just keep following this gravel road. If we take it all up to there's actually a little hydro dam further up in this valley, very small one. We take it up to there and then keep going, the path keeps going right up, pretty much up to the Beinn you can see there. After about 20 minutes you'll come to this gate, and it's at this gate where you can go straight up onto the ridge by turning to the right and follow the path that goes up there, or as I'm doing today, keep following the gravel trail southeast up the sort of valley. The moon is just, it's just peeking out underneath the cloud there. It's a full moon. gravel road will end shortly, and then the path continues up the side of this stream. It goes directly ahead for a while, and then it'll turn up to the left slightly, and we're going to go up that left hand, well, up the ridge. I don't think it quite goes to the Beinn. I think it joins the ridge slightly more to the right. But we'll go up the ridge to the summit there. The summit is actually in cloud in the centre. The weather report this morning said that cloud would clear about 10 o'clock. So it's probably another hour and a half or so to get to the summit up there. And then from there you just walk along the ridge and back down. When you come to this little hydro dam, that's the end of the gravel road that you've been walking up. So from here, continue in the same direction, going southeast. You just follow the path. It's a popular walk, this one, so the path is very clear all the way around. One hour into the walk, getting close to going up the side of the ridge there, and the top looks to be clear at the moment. As you go along that ridge, there's one steep section of descent. I think you can just see it there in the centre of the frame, and then it goes round and gradually ascends up onto the second top. There are multiple paths going along here. I've just checked the map. I really want to keep a little bit closer to the river down there, so I'm just going to go to the left and go back down to that path. This one looks like it might go a little bit too much to the left, to the right, sorry. There's another one in the middle there, it goes straight ahead. I'll try to keep to the one that I've plotted. The whole section of the walk from the dam up to this point is very wet and boggy. Not wet up to my knees at any point yet, but it's not the easiest path to walk on. The path continues straight on, crosses that river on the left there. That river bends round to the right, so it crosses somewhere straight ahead. It's a little bit difficult to tell. I think the path goes up just in the centre of the frame there, and then up roughly to that square block. I think that's where it goes. It doesn't go up to the lowest point of the Beinn there. It's a little bit to the right of it. I can also see some other paths a bit further round to the right, but they may well just be deer path. So I'll just keep going on. From that last video, I just came round a little bit more to my right. The path got quite faint. I can now see it again over there. There's one path that goes up towards that waterfall. Straight ahead, there's a path that goes all the way up, right up the middle of the frame. And this path also splits to the left and goes up towards that square block there. I'm going to head up towards that block. It looks the most worn path, and it's not quite as steep as going up there straight ahead. Once you're on the ridge, you just follow the ridge around. There's a little top straight ahead at the back, but that's not a summit, so we'll just skip round the front of that. The summit's directly under the cloud there at the moment. From there we'll head back down to another Beinn and then up the other side. That will take us up to An Caisteal. This part is the most significant river crossing. You can see if there's quite a lot of water, this could be a bit trickier. As always, having walking poles and a good pair of waterproof boots makes it a lot easier. As I gain in altitude, the wind picks up. Almost getting into the sunshine. And from here, follow the path all the way up to the summit up there. Still a little bit of lingering cloud. That should clear by the time I get to the top. Now that I'm on the ridge properly, the wind chill factor is good. I'm hiding behind the rock, with the jacket on to keep the wind out, and you can see the cloud is rolling in at a fair rate. The sun is just coming out as well. Just coming out over the ridge. The path splits at this point. There's a path over there to the left that takes you up to a little top up there. There's also a path to the right, and that's what I'm going to follow that takes you directly to the summit. Just under a kilometre distance to go to the top over there. Here the path now turns to the right and goes up through that rocky section. If it wasn't for the ice, this would be a really easy bit to ascend, but it's going to be a little bit trickier. The ice is quite slippy, as you'd expect. So I'll just go up there. I could alternatively go around to the right hand side here where it's more grassy, and that might actually be easier, but I'll go and see what the path is like. Almost at the summit. At the summit of Beinn, little small cairn here. That's been standing here, the clouds come in. It's a bit frosty up the top. from here you keep following the path. We're heading west and then it'll bend a little bit southwest. And there's a sort of steep section we go down to the south of and make our way onto An Caisteal, which is over in that direction. With the wind chill, it's about -15 according to the Met Office. Oh, it's cleared up nicely now. There's another cairn here, and it's a better made cairn, but it's not. It's slightly lower down than over there. There's an argument for that little bit of rock sticking up to be the summit. So I'm going to continue to follow the path along here to the left. It goes down the left side over there and then back round to the right. You can see the path on the other side there. I'm going to go up An Caisteal, which is in the clouds at the moment. Almost getting another Brocken Spectre over there. It's not quite. Looking across to An Caisteal, a bit of a drop to get down to the Beinn just there. If you're feeling fit and you've got the time, you can actually go down to the left there and then back up the other side to the Munros just over there. I think it's around 3.5–4 kilometres extra walk and about 500 metres of extra ascent. So you kind of go down 250 metres and back up both ways. But for today's walk, the path here is down to the back and then cuts back across. And this is probably the most difficult part of the walk, just because of the ice. I've got my crampons if I need them. Once I get down there, I don't think it's too bad on the other side. You can actually see some walkers coming this way. And with a bit of luck, the top will clear by the time I get there. The main path goes down back there. I've come around a little bit further to the east and I think I'm just going to make my own way down through the grass here and all the way down and then around. It's just going down the main path. It's very frozen, very slippy, going down on the grass, and you can see there's a path here. So for me, this is a more sensible route to take. under the current conditions. At the same time, I don't want to go too far down here because I'll be below the Beinn, so I just want to go round and zigzag back to the main path. As you'll see in the time lapse, I had to backtrack a little bit there. Came to a section it was just not safe to climb around. So I backtracked, climbed back up a bit and got back onto the path. And we'll see what it's like round the corner. Only a little bit to get down before we get to the easy bit. Down at the Beinn, there was some quite treacherous and icy sections in that descent. Wasn't a lot of fun. So from here, you keep following the path, heading westerly up onto An Caisteal. A little bit over 1 kilometre to the summit and 150 metres of ascent. And it's around 6 kilometres from here back to the car park. It's nice and calm, and actually you overheat when you're out of the wind. Just coming to the last little uphill section, about 60 metres of altitude to climb, and then we'll be at the summit of An Caisteal. At the summit of An Caisteal, still a little bit foggy and a little bit cloudy. It's a bit brighter. A little bit of a white rainbow. Some blue sky, and the sun is trying to get through the cloud. Not as windy as it was earlier, which is nice. I'll have a cup of tea, see if it clears up a little bit more. It's slowly clearing up a little bit. So from the summit you head directly north and then along the ridge it's going to bend very slightly to the west as we're descending, and just keep following that all the way down back to the gravel road. Get to the road, turn left, back out to the car park. It's still very cold with the wind. It's not bad. You're out the wind and your hands are in your pockets or in your gloves, but when they're out exposed, very cold. Doesn't look like that's focusing very well. It's clearing up a little bit over there. Oh, it's very cold. Very cold. Starting to get a nice view on the way down. Just continue along the ridge, you can see the path all the way to the end and then down to the right. Looks like you could just go down here on just there, you could go all the way down back to that path that we walked in on. Might be slightly easier. Just approaching the turn to the right. As you go down here, there's another little top that's lit up there in the sunlight. You don't go onto that point, so the path keeps going straight on, but before that point, just where the shadow in the line is, you turn to the right and then go down, and you can see the scar that's going down the side of the mountain there. That's the path taking you back to the gravel road that I came in on. So it's back down to the road, turn left, and the car park is just over there. So you get to this point, turn to your right. The more used path is straight ahead, but the actual descent path is on the right. I expect if you went straight ahead, as so many people seem to have gone that way, there's probably a path that turns down to the right and joins up with this path anyway. But I'm just going to keep to the marked route. So. Back down at the gate, I would definitely recommend doing it in the clockwise direction and not trying to go up that slope. It was very mushy, very wet path. There's a number of different paths coming down there. None of them were very clear to follow. So that wasn't much fun, but I'm glad I'm back on the gravel road. turn left, straight ahead as we're looking just now, back to the car park. Should only be about a 15-minute walk downhill. As you leave that little tunnel under the railway track, head to your left, takes you back to the car park. Once again, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. A little bit trickier with the ice, made it a little bit slower going than normal. And as always, I look forward to showing you more in the next video. Thanks for watching and bye for now.